And a DVR here. Welcome to Hamityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I'm Clint.
I am Don.
And today we are joined with a couple of special guests. I was thinking we were walking in this to get one. We get two for one. So we've got Miss Stephanie Swift today. And we also have her husband, Rick. Is it Dutrow? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, good job.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it could have gone either way. Don put it in Google, and then we were like, "Is that how you say it?" You know.
Yeah, I was a guy
totally
that was like,
Dutrow, so I'm
how do
going
you
that
pronounce this? Because if I fuck this up, I'm gonna feel like a real idiot. Be like, no.
I still mess it up, and I'm married to him.
and I just want to say, welcome, fellow Pennsylvanians. You know, I'm in Pennsylvania myself. At the moment, right now, I'm sitting in the snack food capital of the state. You know, over in Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Hanover.
So, oh yeah, Hershey's chocolate. Yeah. But I'm not too far from there. But right now I'm sitting in Hanover, so I've got an Utz factory like right across the street. So
their barbecue is the bomb.
I love their salt-free chips.
He likes the salt-free ones. Yeah.
What the hell's a salt-free chip? What is that exists?
A salt. Well, sure. You just got to flavor it with something else. You know.
Believe it or not, it's amazing because you just literally taste the potato. That's all you get, which is kind of nice.
You guys are young. When you get old, you have to watch your salt intake.
Wow, they warned me about it now, but I mean,
I'll appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment.
I'm older than I look, so.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Yeah. So the coolest thing about around here is you can tell whenever they're making the Grandma Utz potato chips, because they have to switch to a different type of like cooking. I think I might actually use lard for that. It like hangs in the air. You can almost taste it.
Lard? Wow.
I think so. Yeah.
That's old school stuff. That lard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're an old school company, but
yeah, absolutely.
Right to the thighs.
Yeah.
Screw it. It's worth
So
it.
you're a little further out west. You're kind of north of Pittsburgh there, and kind of the Butler area. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Stephanie originally from Butler, but we're right outside Pittsburgh. Irwin is a little town. About 30 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It does have a turnpike toll. It's like number 7, or I don't know, exit 7.
We're one of the exits of the PA Turnpike.
I gotcha.
So you can be ripped off on the most expensive highway in the United States and travel and come see us. Yeah.
Well,
it's worth it.
I have an easy pass, so I'm half price, so it's all right.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. So you occasionally make it over to like Monroeville when they do a convention or something like that. Do you ever do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably go through Monroeville twice a week.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha.
To go to the city. Yeah.
I've been there all at once, and it was for a convention, and then of course, well, the mall was right there, so I was like, well, I gotta go to the Monroeville Mall, Dawn of the Dead, you know.
Dawn of the Dead, yeah. George Romero. That's where it all happened.
An interesting thing about the Monroeville Mall, I think, if memory serves me, in 1970 it opened, and it was in the Guinness Book of World Record as the largest indoor mall.
I could probably believe that for the time.
Yeah, in the world.
And didn't it used to have an
Wow.
ice skating rink? Apparently, I didn't experience it. I was not born during that time.
That's right. Neither was Rick. Rick read that. He wasn't born then either, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, we're the same age.
I googled that.
See, GTS. Google that shit. He got it.
Are we talking maturity or actual years? Because
oh Lord, I'm not getting into this.
If we're talking maturity, my date doesn't go back
all of a
very
sudden
far
this
at all.
interview just ends. They just drop off the call. Be like, what did we start? What did we do?
No, we
So
been through it all.
Absolutely. So you guys, I mean, Steph, can I call you Steph?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I called some chick Jules one day. Her name was Julie, and she broke bad on me and wouldn't talk to me for like a month. I was like, damn, all right, well, I quit. So you guys have been in some awesome movies, short films, full feature films. A lot of them you've sent to me. So luckily I've done my homework, so I don't have to ask you how you started your acting career. You were into musicals and dancing way back when you were 10. You did Oliver. Your skirt got ripped off.
Yes, all of
So-
her clothes off.
Yeah,
was
all of her
kind
clothes off. Yep.
Yeah, all of her clothes off. Yeah, that was my first feature role in a musical. And I haven't done so much musical theater lately just because after that stupid virus, thing that I won't even name, I finally got the damn thing and whatever, but I avoided it. But yeah, that was something that was kind of important in my life. And then live theater sort of got shut down. And then Rick and I had mentioned that we wanted to do something that challenged us, but was a shorter maybe commitment time in a lot of respects. Because when you're in a musical or play, you rehearse for a month or a month and a half, depending on what the time frame is or the role. And that's the whole commitment of like 5 nights a week. And then the performances will be 3 or 4 a weekend.
Mhm.
So that and then you go and film something, and it's short and sweet, but you don't have the rehearsal time that you normally would have for like a musical or play, which can be good or bad depending on how you mesh with someone or how complicated it is. But we found that we really embrace kind of the shorter timeline that comes along with filming, and we like it.
Yeah, that was nothing to, I don't think like that at all.
All right. How do you think? Because I was going to ask you.
Wow. Oh,
Well,
geez.
I mean, I've done probably about 50 to 60 plays
I'm
in
just
my
gonna
life
shut up.
since college. And, you spend a lot of time and you perform and people come and see you, and then it disappears.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a ticket, if you weren't in that audience, you don't get to see that show, that play, that
Mhm.
performance. And I just woke up one day after like almost like 30, 35 years of theater. And I said to Stephanie, I said, honey, let's transition out of stage work. And she said, why? It's what we do. And I said, because I'm just tired of it being created and disappearing. And we can't share it with anybody once it's over. I said, but if we get into film, it has a longevity to it.
Which can be both a blessing and a curse. I
Sure.
will say that
Yeah, it
because
doesn't disappear.
when you watch earlier, at least I know for me, earlier works, adjusting to camera acting versus stage acting. Stage acting's big, or it has to be projected to the ends of the rows, and
See how her
everybody
hands
there.
are going out?
Yeah, like there. But in film, everything's so subtle and close, or you have to know what the shot is or understand kind of the position where you are, and that takes an adjustment if you're not used to it.
No, and I guess I can see both point of views. I mean, I would definitely hate to put the time in and just be a flash in the pan, and then all of a sudden, if you like Rick said, if you're not there, you just don't get to see it, and then everybody talks about, oh well, there was this play and it was amazing, and it's like, well, I'll never get to see that again. Whereas, I can always put in Massacre Academy and watch it. So I mean, I get both aspects without a doubt.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
it's
And-
and it's a shame because I know a lot of stuff that you guys do nobody's ever going to see, which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
all only as good as the distribution
But
or
the live theater as a performer and as an audience member, there's nothing really like it.
Oh
yeah,
it's a
it
different- it's a
really
different-
is a
'Cause
high.
it's shared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The performer and the audience are together
and you're fueled
in that same space.
by that,
Yeah.
whether it be laughter, it could be
Film and
pain,
TV,
it's-
it's different because the audience is removed from the performer.
No, that's
by
I can
by
definitely see why that.
screen.
Well, so I guess let me ask you this. So, and this is, with the whole stage is, so having an audience, I guess that kind of fuels you, doesn't it? Like you have the people out there once they start cheering or they start crying or start booing if you're a
Mhm.
villain, that kind of, changes your emotions too. Is like, well, obviously I'm doing my job if I'm getting some kind of reaction from the
Mhm.
crowd. So I guess that helps too. Whereas, when you're doing these movies, it's just a, cut or action or, however that works for you guys.
Sometimes you get that kind of reaction from the crew.
Yeah.
But they have to wait till cut. And
Cut.
then if they really like it, you'll hear, they'll react usually.
Mhm.
Right.
Usually,
Gotcha.
it depends.
I think what's really refreshing about film versus stage is as much as you may put into a stage performance and get a different outcome every time you do it, every take is almost like a different performance too. So you have to look at it as kind of like a new beat or a new point. I try to do, and I don't know if Rick is going to chime in and say he agrees or does something different, but I try to have every take be a little bit different in any respect, whether it be, because I've been doing a lot of voiceovers too, and that has its own set of challenges because you literally don't have anybody to go off of typically. So you have to imagine, just kind of like you imagine the audience, you have to almost imagine the other characters, which is also really tough sometimes, getting in that headspace to be where you're supposed to be. So having context or like knowing where you're going to go, you have to almost do that with voiceovers because the character's typically not with you or not opposite you. It's recorded separate, but that's neither here nor there. But I figured
No, actually, it's funny you mention it because I've done some voiceover work, and we did a web series, and it was kind of the same thing. You know, you're recording, and it was for Digimon, so you know the old
cool.
Cartoon. So
Yeah.
it was it is challenging. It is because you're not, you're seeing the character, but there's no one else around you. You're in a booth by yourself, and then at that stage, like how I was doing, I was just at home, recording, sending in the files, and hopefully they were saying, okay, we can use them, we can edit them, we can piece them together with, the character. But when you're in a studio, it's even harder because there's no one there. And I actually know a couple voice actors that work for Funimation, and they were talking about how, how COVID shut everything down. Like there was nobody in the studios. They were doing everything from home, recording. And, to me, that's 10 times harder than anything, because again, there's nothing there. You're having to think about this character.
It's a creative
in your head,
in your mind.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
we haven't really been to many in-person auditions since COVID either. And that in itself poses some challenges because luckily we have each other to work with and audition with, because sometimes people don't have anyone to read with them, or it's like they don't have a studio. We have a whole setup here. But I mean, if you aren't going into a studio to audition, it's hard because they don't get to know you or know your personality. And if that person as a casting director doesn't know you, it can put you to disadvantage. Whereas before, at least they got to meet you when you went on your audition. So maybe if it wasn't quite what they were looking for, they could at least tweak it because they knew, hey, this person has this ability to do this or that. But now it's just so cold and so like distanced. It's so different.
Right.
In in-person auditions, you get some direction.
Yes.
Like they might say, okay, that was great, but try it this way.
Yeah.
Add this, add this to it. Self-tape, you don't get any of that.
No.
That's true.
You're literally on your own to
make decisions and
interpret, analyze, and believe you're giving in
what
that
they want.
self-tape, what they're casting for.
So that's interesting. You're the second group of people that we've encountered that's in that category. We found that people kind of separate into two groups on the audition. They either really hate the self audition that you have to send in, and really love the in-person one, or it's flipped. And typically it's a younger crowd that seems to like the filming themselves and sending it in.
I like the person.
Yeah,
I prefer
Well, I think a big advantage to both is when you self-tape at home, you could literally do 500 takes.
Yeah.
Right.
And they only
and
see
pick the one that you want to submit. In person,
that's so true.
you don't have the luxury of that amount of time.
You walk in and
Right.
You better be prepared, and then they might ask you to tweak it. If you might get 3 chances live,
Right.
or a self-tape,
You're
you might
lucky.
get 300.
Yeah. That's very true.
But not that. I mean, I would never do 300,
300 takes.
That's not
I would
enough.
hope
That's
to
not
God
enough.
But yeah, it is kind of interesting that they only see what you send them. So you send them the best take, but it's kind of interesting that maybe the best take that you think is the best take maybe wasn't their idea of the best take either.
Right.
So it's all about interpretation and what you think their conception is of that character or that.
Yeah.
And actors can overanalyze. So
Oh.
the more we watch ourselves, oh,
Yeah,
let
I
me try
won't
this,
even
let me
watch
try
self
that.
tapes.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it
Just say one.
dilutes the performance. Sometimes the first take
Is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Sometimes,
it's just like very fluid and very natural.
unless you
Organic.
fuck up and then,
Well, or unless you're
Oh, he
well,
was the first one.
unless you're fucking fake. Here, I'll back you up on that.
Yeah, fucking
Um,
right.
That-
we
and
can
that's-
fix that in post, right?
Fix it in post. Woo, woo.
We
That's
don't edit
right.
videos. This is we're live streaming. I'm not recording. I'm just kidding. No, no, we're
Okay.
good. No, I mean,
There's a 7-second delay.
we're not a pay-per-view. We're not wrestling pay-per-views. There's no delays. We're like I said, and Rick, I'm glad you brought that up. Is that the fact that your first take probably is your best because you're at your A game. You know what to do. You know how to say it, and you just got all the
Mhm.
energy. And it's funny that you mentioned it because, like with us, we had to record an episode 3 times, same thing. And by the third time, we were like, I just don't
Yeah,
fucking
we're
care
done.
anymore.
Put
I
it
just want to
out.
get it on there
God.
and
It's not
get it
gonna get
out
any
because
better.
I don't have the energy I had the first time because it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
it's not there.
Oh, it's so true. Honestly,
It's draining.
you almost become. I hate to say it, but you just become like numb to it or don't give a shit.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I just did
Desensitized.
this. Yeah, desensitized. Like I did
Yeah.
this 12 times. Guess what? The 12th take is the worst. Maybe the first take, as much as maybe I wasn't word perfect or it wasn't great in my mind, I watch it again. It's like, actually, that was the best one.
Yeah.
And usually self-tapes, they're not looking for word perfect. They're
No,
looking for you to display that character. Live
Yeah.
that character.
live
and
the
let us see it.
character.
Right. Yeah. They want to see life in what they created. So I can understand how they may not need that to be perfect. Where you
But we
get,
try.
yeah. Well, you got to try.
Gotta try.
Yeah, I mean,
You're pretty close.
Absolutely.
You're pretty damn close from what I've seen. You're damn near perfection.
well,
Oh,
I was in American Rust. I had the pleasure to be part of the cast in American Rust with Jeff Daniels and Maura Tierney and Bill Camp. And I had a 3-page monologue in
Wow.
episode 3.
yeah, this thing
Episode
is a
3.
beast.
Episode
2. No, it was episode 2. Episode 2. I swear to God, it's episode 2. I will
No,
bet
episode
you.
3.
No, it wasn't. Episode 3
No, it
was
was
the
episode 2.
piano.
It was
Thank
episode 2.
you.
It was episode 2.
I know his episodes. What the heck is going on?
But anyway, the
I
show,
know his monologue too. Should I do it right now? No.
Oh my.
she doesn't know it.
A live
actually did.
performance?
I don't do speeches. But
Mm.
tonight, I guess I don't have a choice. So where do I begin? Okay, let's start with a joke. Why did the oversized football coach cross the road?
Oversized football.
I don't know. That's close enough. Because he lost his Viagra. I'm sorry, his playbook. See, I know his damn monologue. This is from like a year. That's
Listen,
close enough.
that wasn't my point. though,
It
the
was
words.
close enough.
But the showrunner who was in charge came up to me and said, Rick, because this was with Showtime. Showtime's watching. We're streaming everything directly to Hollywood, and you have got to be word perfect.
All right, that was fucking weird. That was really weird. Like in unison, word perfect. Y'all, they planned this
Because
shit.
they
Clint.
did.
They planned
Yeah,
it,
so-
Clint.
Mhm.
And I was like scared for him because I thought, oh, word perfect. That's
So they're
that's
telling me
tough.
right before
Yeah,
they
right before you're filming.
action. But obviously I respect the script and I respect the writers and I think I pretty much nailed it for word perfect.
You did.
So,
I don't have any doubt.
but yeah, so it
So did
depends.
I.
It depends on the game.
I don't have any doubt. I mean, it's. But
I
again,
helped him
mean,
rehearse it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like you said, it streams right to goes right to Hollywood. So there's no bullshitting around that. You say it, it goes, and it's like
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So
And they're working with those actors or the professionals that are at this level. And even it's weird because it was postponed for a year. So it was supposed to film, what was it, like March of 2020? And then we shut down 7 days after.
Yeah, the day we had the table read,
Was.
they brought everybody into Pittsburgh. It's shot in Pittsburgh, the whole series. They brought everybody in, all the big names, and we're all at a table, a big table they built for us. It sat like 50 of us,
Good God.
the whole cast for the first 2 episodes. And during, they had a little monitors everywhere, cameras everywhere, and they had a little speaker, just like from Charlie's Angels. I don't know if you remember that, a little speaker. They had one in the center of the table, and David Levine from Hollywood, he's the director of entertainment for Showtime, gave a speech, and then he said, "Hey guys, I have my cast, and we're super excited, but unfortunately, we have to go on hold because of this virus." And we're thinking maybe 2 weeks, but
2
we have
weeks.
no idea. Well, it was a year.
It was.
Wow.
And I was in episode 1 in the courtroom scene. And I was one of the first groups that was on set because the COVID protocols were so strict. And there were only 10 of us total that were actors in the courtroom. And it was the first day of filming. And I remember it was like March 16th. It was the day before our anniversary because we got married on St. Patrick's Day in 2019. But so I'm there and they're like, "Listen, social distancing after every take, you got to put your mask on. You have to sit in this part of the courtroom." And I was right behind Alex Newstander and Maura Tierney on the defense side. And so it was really interesting to be there for filming, and it was so strict and everything. And you know, you had to COVID test like 5 times and all of that. And things are getting better, but like I said, it just has really put a damper on a lot of how filming used to be. And I was just in the Tom Hanks film that's here, and same kind of deal. You have to go and COVID test, and then they allow you to be on set and that kind
Let's
of thing.
let's talk about that. So
Oh my God.
she has a day to work with Tom Hanks, and in the morning she says, "I'm going to go to set." I
Yeah.
said, "Great, break legs, have a good day." And she leaves, and I happen to go up into what I call the shrine.
Stop it.
It's a bedroom upstairs,
It has a lot
roof.
of Star Wars stuff and a
It's
lot
like
of
an extra
cool-
bedroom. It's dedicated to her.
It's not.
It's all her. It's like her collection of everything.
It's just my cool movie
It's her.
stuff.
It's the shrine.
No.
So I happen to go up in and look in the shrine, and she has a dresser with a mirror where she'll dress and put her makeup on.
Mhm.
And I looked down at it because I think I was checking my hair or teeth or whatever.
Yeah, his hair. Mhm.
And
It's beautiful hair.
I looked down, and there's her wedding ring.
No, by the way, it was not my wedding ring. It was my engagement ring. Okay. So my engagement ring has emeralds. And I didn't wear that because it's kind of bigger and colorful and whatever. So I wore my wedding rings because I have 2 of them. There's like the side by side, or they're you know, up and down. And then so he's thinking like,
Yeah, show
I
them,
didn't
honey. You
wear-
probably have
I
them on right
don't
now.
actually have them on right now. I'm sorry. I took them off.
Wow,
This
he
morning.
set that up. He was like, "You ain't got them one." Show.
I totally got set up for this. This
That's
is
why I'm here, guys.
But long story short,
She's a married woman.
they wanted
You
us
don't want
to
us to
be
forget you're
very-
around. I got you.
They want us to be very subtle and
represent.
like understated,
Right.
and this ring is like really thick and whatever. So I wore my wedding rings, and then I did have a conversation with Tom Hanks because he asked me 2 questions. So then I told Rick that, and he thought that I was hitting on Tom Hanks and whatever, but I was not. Thank you very much. Because I don't need to. You were my Tom Hanks.
And I was
you
gonna
were way
say-
better.
And
than
I was
Tom
going to
Hanks.
say all that, but she beat me to it.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
He was very gracious and nice, and I did get to speak with him. He wanted to know where I started with my acting career and then where I'm from. And so I answered him, but you're not supposed to really interact with them unless, you know, they want to interact with you. And then I did have a line of dialogue with him too, which was kind of cool. So hopefully it makes it into the final cut. It's called a Man Called Otto.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
that'd be
based
awesome.
on a Swedish book, I think.
Okay.
It's a different name though, isn't it?
No, it's or it's a man called Ove
Oh,
in the Swedish version from 2016, I think. But
Yeah, the Swedes do things a little differently, don't they?
all the Swedes, yes, they do.
Hey, Clint, they're our second listener base. Why you gotta insult them?
Oh yeah. We're really big in Sweden,
Oh,
so
in
I
Sweden?
better not
No,
insult them.
we're
No,
not.
I love. Okay,
we
hey, I'm a huge like ABBA fan. That's one of my jams.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
When we started this, I got an email from it was just some off the wall stuff, and they said that you guys are trending. What was it? Number one, Clint? It was number
No,
one
it's
in
like
Austria.
2 or 3 in Austria.
Austria?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a,
we were
that's a
we were
fishing
third.
email for
Yeah.
sure.
I was like,
Oh no,
I was like, Clint, we're trend. I was like, dude, we're number 3 in Austria.
Oh
he's
my
like-
gosh.
She's like,
And I
dude,
was like, bullshit.
he's like,
That's
bullshit.
a fishing
Shut up.
email.
It's fishing email.
I'm like,
So
Google where it came from.
Sure,
Do
not
not
number
click on
3 in
anything.
Austria.
so I had my hopes dashed by Clint because I was like, man, we are kicking ass in Austria, and there ain't a fucking person listening to us in Austria. I guarantee it. They don't even know we exist.
Yeah. Well, there
But
might
I
be
was in my head like, man, we're doing it. We're doing this. And then Clint's like, no, we're definitely not. And yeah, it was it's complete bullshit.
well, my father's family all came from Germany, but
Ah,
in like 1692.
oh my. So you
Yeah,
go
it
back
was
a
a
lot
long
further than I do.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're like
Clint's,
I
1850s
think
Germany.
would it be maybe the Protestant Reformation,
Mhm.
where a lot of people left Europe for, to practice religion without persecution or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Alexa.
So
I wish I had that
Don't
right
talk
now.
to her. No.
speaking of the Germans,
It's a German.
yeah,
They will
you
tell
did
it's
a
truth.
you did a short film that to a degree, I guess is kind of close to my heritage. This Hassenpfeffer. I don't really think that's how you say it. Some
No,
German
that's absolutely correct. Yes.
German stew made with rabbit.
Yeah,
You know,
rabbit
um,
stew.
Rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew.
My real question with that is, was that supposed to be rabbit in that stew? Because I'm not really sure, due to the subject matter of that short film.
Good question. Very good question.
Indeed.
I don't know if I'm under an NDA. I don't know if I can reveal
Stop
that.
it. No,
Oh,
he's
damn
not.
it.
No, honestly, the concept behind Hassenpfeffer was.
I think it was a lean cuisine, actually.
Yeah.
What was
So-
used.
So
If
his
you're referencing
character,
the food.
all right, Rick, calm down. His character, Jimmy Fottle, who is my psycho neighbor, who I don't even know is kind of watching me. He ends up kidnapping me and we'll say has been sort of observing me for quite
checking
a
her out
while.
from a distance.
Yeah, and then he wants to make me a special meal, and I sort of turn the tables there because I'm not just going to be tied up in the basement. But I think the cool part about that is visually, when you see the mask and you sort of see the big reveal with Rick, that you understand that this guy, he has been watching her for a while maybe, but
Did you ever have a
he's
really
kind
hot
of like
neighbor that you wanted to have dinner with, but it just never panned out?
Well, I don't think I'm in the right part of Pennsylvania for that, but
I'm definitely not the right part of Virginia for that either.
I think I get where you're going with it.
Yeah, I know where
but-
you're going. No
Yeah,
doubt.
that's kind of the plot. Jimmy has a really hot neighbor that he wants to have dinner with, and he
Yeah.
kind of goes about it, making it happen in a
In the
very
wrong way.
unique
The wrong
way.
way. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that backfires on him, so to speak.
Yeah, put on his best mask, just
Yeah.
drops it
And
outside.
the guy that plays the tennis instructor, so it's kind of interesting. I know that did you watch Dawn the Redwoods, the found
I
footage
did.
film? Yes.
Certainly did.
So that character, who is the lead cross in
Yep.
Redwoods,
Is that Michael? Was
plays
it Michael Barnett?
Michael Barnett.
Michael Barnett.
Yes, we call him, like, I mean, he'll embrace it, eyebrows, because he does literally have the coolest eyebrows, or like a
thickest, most
foot-
luxuriant eyebrows.
yeah, they're very
ever.
luxuriant.
They're
yes.
pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie.
So he played the tennis instructor, and what was interesting about whenever Jimmy Fottle's character comes into play, or Rick's character, is that, you know, he has to basically take down this guy that's 6'4". I mean, that Michael Barnett's very tall,
Mhm.
and I'm 5'3", so I try to sort of compensate in my heels. So some of the time it was like, am I up on my tippy toes, or like, do I need to be on an apple box, you know? And sometimes I have to even do that with Rick, but you know, he's about what, you 5'11", 6 foot?
5'11".
Yeah. So you know, there's those challenges there, but I think visually it really worked out well, even though Rick had to throw me into the trunk of our car. And he's like, by the third take, he's like, you're really, because I was going dead weight. He's like, damn, you're actually really heavy. You know, and I was giggling because it's like he's dragging me and throwing me in the trunk.
Husbands,
Yes.
don't ever say that to your wife.
No, I was pretty pissed off, to be honest with you. I was like, you're in the doghouse, dude.
My
Like,
wife embraces that, because when I try to move her, she just goes dead weight and just falls. She's like, I'm just gonna go dead weight now. I'm like, you have this shit planned out. Like, I try to pick you up, and it's just, you go from, you know, your 140-pound build to 800 pounds. I'm like, how does that work? Like, how does that? It's like you triple your weight just by I just
being dead weight.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a woman thing. It's got to be.
It
Gotta
just,
be.
sucks the man strength out of us. We can't.
Yeah.
We're
I'm like-
helpless.
I'm like, oh, cool. I guess I need to go to the gym for another 8 years so I can, you know,
Yeah.
bench press you.
So you can carry my dead weight.
Insane. So and it's
Like-
funny
I
that you
did
mentioned
like
like
killing that too.
yeah,
It
right.
was really cool how the blood just streamed right down his mustache. That was really awesome.
Yeah, that received the award for best kill in the
Oh,
48
wow.
hour. Yeah, Pittsburgh sci-fi horror film project. So, and then I
Yeah,
had the
that was
honor,
made for a competitive film festival that we all competed films in.
and then
Yeah.
I had the honor of competing against other actresses and actors for best scream queen or king, which I received the award for best scream queen for that. And then Rick just recently got best actor at the Pleasant Fest for Hassan Pfeffer, which I think he truly
Yeah,
earned.
they're festivaling it now in other festivals.
That's awesome.
that is great.
I figured with the length of it, that's probably what it was designed for, was
Mhm.
to hit the festival circuit. And that's
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
short, sweet, and to the point, and it did what it
Yeah.
was supposed to do. I liked it.
And there's an alternate ending if you go on Shadow Frame Productions Facebook page, or I'm sorry, their YouTube channel, where you can see there's another really gory ending where I take
Oh.
him out.
Basically splits my head
It's
open.
awesome. Yeah, it's like he had this whole face of makeup done.
Looks
It's
like the Joker on steroids because she like opened up my mouth and it's getting.
it's pretty gruesome. Yeah.
Yeah. A tennis racket can do all that.
No, this was I don't know if you remember, but there's an axe that's in the
It's
basement
not-
too.
Yeah, I don't know if
Is
it's in the.
that-
I don't know
Is
if
that
it's
in
in
the?
the.
No,
version
it's in the.
that was released.
But it wasn't used. It's there. Maybe, you know, now I'm questioning whether or not it's in the original.
It's in. That's part of the alternate.
The alternate. So
Oh,
Oh,
just
don't
check out.
worry. We'll watch it again and
Yeah,
again
I'll
and
check
again
that out.
and again.
I'll look
The
It's
for it.
alternate.
7
It's like
minutes
2
long. I
minutes.
think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 minutes long. Because for the 48-hour competition, if you're more than 7.5 minutes with credits, you're disqualified.
Mhm.
So like when Lingorithm that I know Don watched, which was the Cleveland 48-hour
Yeah.
best film, that one was 7.5 minutes, and we won. I think it was 6 or 7 awards so far.
We were nominated for 6 awards in Cleveland and won 6.
Mhm.
And then one of those awards was best film.
Best film. So we went to
So the best
DC.
film goes on to compete internationally in
Mhm.
a global
Mhm.
film festival that was hosted in DC,
It was
Washington.
Yeah.
DC.
phenomenal. It was
That was a cool one too. I like the sci-fi element of that, and that's
Yeah.
one of those
Yeah, that
things
was the
that like
genre.
if it does well, I wouldn't mind seeing like a longer film made of that, where maybe they like going a little bit more in depth about how the memory transplant process might have worked. Because
Well, ironically that you say that. So the brilliant filmmaker behind that, so that was written, produced, and rendered in 48 hours
wow,
from top to bottom.
Zero to hero.
Yeah. And mixed, yes. And Jay Williams, who is was he the director, cinematographer, editor, and writer? Yes, sorry, writer.
It was all Jay, basically.
It was all Jay.
Almost.
Okay.
And
Ron and Jay.
Ron and Jay, Ron Urjabek. So that one, just to see it from the script to what it ended up being. I mean, I remember the first time watching it thinking, this is really powerful. And especially like at the end, not to give too much away, but people can watch it. It's public now. But the split screen and the twist. I mean, honestly, those two things just completely made that a game changer. It made that film so very awesome. It really did.
Yeah.
Well, to go back to what we talked about before, for me as an actor, there were 2 or 3 conversations that I have on the phone that I'm just talking to myself.
He's not talking to anybody.
And then the other voice actor remotely submitted the other lines.
Responses.
Yeah. And then they mesh
so
them
good.
together
You
in
can
the
tell.
editing room. And it sounds like, hey, wow, they're
He's having
having
a
a real
conversation.
phone conversation. So I was happy.
I never noticed.
I didn't notice anything weird about that. That's cool. That worked out well.
And for the sci-fi genre, it's funny when we pulled that particular genre, Jay and Ron pulled it. There was another option too, which I think it was like femme fatale or it was Western. But they said, we have a sci-fi idea in mind and we hope you guys will go with it. And there's going to be a stunt involved. Bring your swimsuit or whatever. And so I had a lot of anxiety about the stunt because that's one of the whole things about it. That's such the crux of the film. And I was nervous because it's one take and so much can go wrong. I was more worried than Rick was about it. We choreographed it, or Rick really was responsible for choreographing it. But once we went in the pool, I misjudged. I was further away from the edge. He was on the edge of the pool, but I was about 1.5 feet back or 2 feet back. And I misjudged. When I went after him, I was going full scale toward him when I grabbed his neck. But I dove and I dragged my feet. So in the take, you don't see it, but I dragged my feet and go in the pool, and my feet were bloody. And, I was actually feeling pain, but I sort of gritted my teeth like I'm pissed off and angry, because I kind of was, but like I couldn't break character because you literally have one chance to get it right, because then you're wet and it's like, do I need to dry off for 2 hours so I can retake this? Like, you don't want to go through that crap.
Time.
Yeah, you really
looked
don't.
Amazing. It looked ridiculous. Like the way that the camera turned, I was like, holy shit, she's going full ballistic. Like it looked amazing. It really did.
Yeah.
And then the GoPro in the pool made a huge difference too. Like just that shot itself.
That was a great shot.
It
really
was
cool. Yeah, it really is.
And then the drone.
The drone, yes.
Oh yeah.
At the end.
Remember the
my
drone
character
with the split screen. Yeah,
that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
That was a good thing to throw in there. Yeah.
Yeah, when he
wrote about that.
When he wrote it, he wrote it. He said split screen, me on the right-hand side of the screen at the end with the knife, and then Rick in the pool on the left-hand side with the drone going up. And you read it and you visualize it, but when you actually see it, it's so much more impactful like that.
Yeah.
Jay's such a great writer.
Oh,
he's
really
he's
is.
almost poetic
Mhm.
in the sense that he'll have simple conversations that say so much,
Mhm.
way beyond just the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tell a story of he almost meshes the past, the present, and the future simultaneously in his dialogue.
It's true.
Wow.
It's
What else has he done? Has he done anything else that you guys have been in?
Rick's first film that he did with
With
Jay is available.
It's called
on,
The Divorce Kit.
yeah,
Okay.
it's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
You have to watch it. It's Grave Lake Media is the name of the company.
Grave Lake Media.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or is it
And,
Grave Lakes? Grave
no,
Lake?
it's Grave Lake.
Grave Lake.
Yeah, Grave Lake
Media.
Media, and it's called The Divorce
The
Kit.
Divorce Kit.
And you won Best Actor for that at the Indie Oaks Film Festival in Pittsburgh
Yeah, in Oakmont.
in 2019. Was it 2018 you filmed it, and then 2019?
No, it
Release?
we filmed it in January that year, and then
Okay, so it was
I think-
filmed and released in 2019.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm starting to think
Yeah.
the Shrine might be Rick's just, you know, Best Actor awards. I'm thinking it might not be anything to do with Steph. I think it's all you, Rick. Your Shrine it's really your Shrine with all your awards.
I'm shrineless in this song. Guys, I'm
Stop
shrineless.
it. No, you haven't. Our main member is like the Shrine. What are you talking about for you? I don't even want to hear it.
So and the end of Linger Rhythm was cool too. I don't know if anybody ever mentioned it, but it was like an homage to Halloween, is what it reminded me of. How you stood there
Yeah.
with the knife and you turned your head. I was like, it
Yeah,
reminded me.
and that was very distinct because I tried it a couple different ways, and he's like, no, I literally want you to walk up, hold it, and then tilt. And then he intensified the light coming from outside into the lobby of the home or the
Almost a
foyer.
silhouette.
Yeah,
That's
silhouette.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
And yeah, that in itself was brilliant. But yeah, his vision of it and everything that came of the film was just beyond what I would have ever expected. So yeah, we
It
hope
was
to work with
amazing.
him
Yeah, we're
again very
we're all
soon.
rallying to get Jay Williams to write a feature-length film.
Especially with
Yeah.
Linger.
Yeah, Linger Rhythm would.
Oh, that would
cool.
be. Oh man, like I told Steph, it was, she said 48 hours. I was like, it felt like it was months. Like there was months to prepare for that and to do that.
Mhm.
And yeah, if something like that were to come out in a full length, man, that would just be.
We
it would be
we
up
showed
there.
up. We showed up on set Saturday morning at like 9 a.m.
Mhm.
and we were done shooting by like 5
5.
because we had to be, because they had to go edit
Yeah.
and put that whole film together by the next evening.
Wow.
That's
So yeah, I mean
And get the composer Wary Pines, which we love now.
they're from Britain.
They're from Leeds, England. Uh-huh.
They're awesome.
They're awesome.
Weary Pines.
Mhm.
Check them out. Yeah, they're so cool. Their music's
Weary.
incredible.
It really is.
Weary Pines.
Weary
Fair
Pines.
Pines.
Weird.
And
Pines.
they're very collaborative, and they'll literally let you use their work in your, whatever your project is.
Mhm.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we've
they're
reached
awesome.
out to a couple people that provided their music for our podcast. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we just
cool.
give them a shout out every time,
Right.
and they let us use it. It's really cool.
They probably would totally be all about being on the podcast as one of your
Yeah, if you want to
musicians. Mhm.
broaden your British
Your
Yeah.
Brits. If you want to
British
get some
audience.
Brits,
listeners.
get some of them to listen in.
Oh, we already have some Britain listeners. We already have a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
those. Really, really good. I think UK is our second biggest one.
Sweet.
Pretty sure.
So between the
Yeah, I think so.
Swedes and the Brits, that's the two.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where we
Swedes.
rock. Apparently. So I guess, with what you guys have done, Massacre Academy, being, the one that's the big one now, you playing Dr. Brady and, you playing John, Detective John, or no, you were Lieutenant, weren't you?
Lieutenant John Hollenbeck.
Yep. So, I mean,
Mhm.
what a great movie it was. I mean, I was really just so surprised of how it came together. And I mentioned to Mark too, that he, the way that he directed it, I guess, did he direct it, write it, everything, or?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Mhm.
That's what I figured.
And originally, so this is kind of a cool,
Yeah, here's the little
backstory.
Trivia,
We'll say
behind the scenes trivia.
Is Rick was originally to play Dr. Brady.
Yeah, I was
Hold up,
cast.
hold up. I've heard this one. This is funny as shit. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
funny because you had a little bit of a identity crisis because you couldn't figure out who you were going to play.
Yeah.
I was originally cast as Dr. Brady.
Yep.
And Mark and I had some, communications back and forth, and I gave him some ideas to maybe expand
Like beef
the
up
Brady
your-
character a little bit and make Brady a stronger comedic element throughout the story.
Mhm.
And Mark took those ideas and went with it and
Expanded.
really expanded the Dr. Brady character for me, and it was exciting. And then COVID caused the actor who was originally cast as
James
Hollenbeck.
Leary,
Yeah,
who was on
Leary.
Buffy.
Yeah, James was a reoccurring character in the Buffy series. He played the
Floppy eared.
bat with the
bat,
floppy ears.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's James Leary. He was going to play Hollenbeck. And but simultaneously, James got this super sweet gig in Germany
With Ubisoft.
Ubisoft to be part of their development team and to voice a lot of the characters
Mhm.
and work on characterizations for their video games.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And so he
So he was in Germany.
moved to Germany.
And
Well, he's in Germany and we're getting ready to film and COVID's there and he couldn't travel.
couldn't come back.
Right.
Mhm.
So Mark Cantu is stuck. What do I do?
What do I do?
And he said, Rick, would you step into the Hollenbeck character? And I said, absolutely. Absolutely, I would. And he said, I'd like to ask Stephanie if she would play the Dr. Brady character.
And I was originally the coach.
She
Yes.
was originally to play the
Yeah.
softball coach.
Yes. Who's
So
our good friend Jennifer. And
Jennifer stepped into the coach.
Blasio,
and-
yeah, she killed it as the coach, but it was
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
because it talk about like different characters, like, she's the strong female, kind of straight-laced badass, and then I'm this kind of not incompetent, but more sort of bumbling, but I know my shit, and I also know that like there's a lot of complexity when it comes to like Henry Lee Palmer and the killings
Yeah.
and what I'm obsessed with it. And, so the question is like, is she the murderer or does she have something to do with these murders that
Yeah.
are 2 years later after the anniversary of these initial ones? And so it's you question, like, could it be Dr. Brady? And I had a lot of fun with it. So
Yeah, I thought your performance was really cool as Dr. Brady. You seem one of those. Your character seemed like one of those who was so good at what they did that they were almost out of touch with other humans.
oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
interacted freely with them, but you just didn't quite,
didn't quite
sync
connect
up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I got to have a scene in the very beginning of the movie with Dave Sheridan where I'm interrogating him, or I should say, I'm sorry, interviewing him.
That guy's
about
awesome.
what's
That guy's
happened. And
great.
then so that was pretty cool. And then also one at the very end with
Melissa Rose,
Melissa
yeah,
Rose.
yeah. Where
that was
she's
an
like,
overall really
I
great
want-
experience, wasn't it?
yeah, and that was all in one day. So they were brought in to do their specific scenes, and then they were gone. But like, yeah, those two sort of, I say, bookend the movie because they truly do. They're sort of the beginning and the end. But yeah, it was a cool experience. So as much as I would have enjoyed playing the coach, I think it all worked out for the best. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
this guy right here playing Hollenbeck was just like 100% spot on.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And
Were
he's
you
really
gonna-
hot too. I
Now
just
here's,
was
now here's a question. If you would have played Dr. Brady, Rick, would you have wore those funky ass glasses?
Those were my
like,
glasses.
those were his glasses.
Listen, here. Listen, I'm gonna spoil this for this lady.
Oh my
I
God.
had my character all worked out. I had everything ready to go. She rehearsed with me, so she knew my character.
I
So
did
all
not
she had to
replicate
do,
him.
all she had to do
No.
is steal my glasses,
No
which
way.
she did, and you
No way,
basically
wrong.
see me
Uh-uh.
as Dr. Brady in the movie.
I gotcha. She just channeled you.
No,
Oh,
we're
man. different
kinds of nerds, okay?
Yeah, she's just.
I just sounded like Dr. Brady. Listen, we're different kinds of nerds.
I don't, and after seeing it, I I don't know if I could see Rick as that character. I just don't after seeing it. There's just no way.
You were too good as the detective.
Man, it was.
Yeah.
She's established herself as Dr. Grady, so.
Yeah.
no
I've
doubt.
always been honest to God, I'm a big nerd. I love, like, I watch Ancient Aliens. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm a huge Star Wars,
Curse of Oak Island.
Star Trek fan. I obsess over it all. So yeah, I have a true nerd side to me that.
And he's got to
embrace.
keep track of how many people he's sending Christmas cards to.
Yeah, he's going over there going,
how
check,
many
check,
Christmas
check,
cards
check.
is he gonna have to write? Oh, jeez.
One more Christmas card.
Well,
Luckily, you can do it in email now. So,
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
right, exactly. Just do the same one. Be like, here, check, check, check. And speaking of which, with your nerd universe, so you were in a Star Wars short film
Yes.
as Eleanor Aranda.
yes.
And so how was that? Because that, of course, taking like a absolutely historic
Mhm.
franchise and
Totally.
being, thrown in there, talk about intimidating.
Yeah.
How did that go? Yeah, go ahead.
And there,
please.
It was a sanctioned.
yes,
fan
it's
film.
totally sanctioned. So there's like 4 criteria. There's probably like 4 million that you have to meet, but the 4 main criteria that you have to meet, and that basically Dutrow fully met in his fan film, because he does have a YouTube channel. It's called Durrell's Playland. Or I hope I said that right. And he has, I think it's like in YouTube, like 10,000 followers or 20,000 followers, something crazy like that. So you're not allowed to monetize it. They have to review your script. Lucasfilms has to approve it. So if there's any aspect of it they do not like, or they don't want you like delving into that part of their universe, it's cut off. Also too, you can't publicly screen it for, again, the monetization. You can't charge to
Can't make
see
any
it.
money with it.
Essentially no money made
Right.
off of it. And then I think the 4th thing is essentially it has to stay true to like the Lucasfilm's vision and to their mission statement. So he did meet all 4 of those criteria, plus the 4 million other ones. But a fan film that I was in, interestingly, one of the first films I ever did was called A Kylo Ren Story. And it's where I played Leia Organa. And I think it received, or from what I was told, a cease and desist, because it actually followed a lot of the main plot line. And the person that was playing Kylo Ren, I'm good friends with him in the film community. He looked just like Adam Driver. He acted like him. And I think that my performance was pretty genuine to Carrie Fisher. So what's sad is now it cannot be out there in the world because it was just maybe too authentic. But this one is like a whole sort of subplot to a subplot of that. And I play a Jedi Master who comes in whenever the fallen apprentice has sort of decided that she's going to rear her ugly head and to show her master, hey, listen, like, you abandoned me and now you're going to pay. And so I come in and sort of basically at the end and take charge and say, this isn't how it is, the Jedi way, and we're going to make sure that we protect our own. So yeah, it was really awesome. The costumes were all done by a local costumer who we love, who has done a ton of stuff. Her name is Danielle Volkar, but she designed, she's the best. She designed my costume. We kind of jokingly said that I'm the mustard Jedi. So like mustard, yellow is not my color, but she said, I want to do this on you because I feel that your character is strong, but she's also sort of a ray of sunshine that comes into the scene and sort of is the motherly aspect here. And so I said, let's go for it. And I thought, actually, maybe mustard could be my new color. I don't know. But it actually ended up being such a cool costume. I want to buy it eventually, but it's a little pricey and I get it. It's custom, but yeah, I thought everyone looked great. You should see some of the visual effects. Brian Cimini was sort of the brilliant guy behind all of the filming. So he and Dutrow and a couple of other folks around here are going to be doing like the CGI and all the special effects for it. It's going to be, I think, like 16 minutes. And I I think you'll be really impressed when it's released. So I loved doing that. Although we filmed in Frick Park locally, and it was 90 degrees, and I was such a sweaty mess. Like, you can't control that. So one day, they're doing this giant sort of lightsaber fight, and it's pouring down rain, and then they have to wait, and then it's super humid. So we had to deal with all these like outdoor conditions, but that's how it goes when you film outside. You just have to deal with the elements. So I think it'll end up being okay.
I'm stoked.
Sounds awesome.
I looked for it all over the place, but it's not outside, because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
right, it's on you. No, that's the animated series. I'm like, damn it, it ain't out yet.
He's thinking maybe September.
Awesome.
Like, hoping September is when the final. There's going to be a trailer though in July.
Yes.
So get to see the trailer in July. Yeah, for the Fallen Apprentice. But all of the local actors that are in it are really great, and they practice that saber fight that happens, the big one, for a couple months. Like, there's one gentleman who's in it that he does like fencing and other sort of sword fighting, and he's the one that was a choreographer, and it was intense. Like, I watched some of the footage, and it looks legit. Looks really good.
I have a Star Wars connection too.
Ah.
All right.
Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
No, we don't want to
Yes,
hear it. How can you
please.
lead in with that? Like, would you like to hear? Well, hell yeah! If I
We're
gotta,
like, nah,
Well,
we don't have time
I
for
gotta
that.
donate to. Okay, hold on. $25. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
involves Adam Driver.
Okay.
Oh, this is true.
In
forgot.
in American Rust, my character, Nolan Danik, has a cousin. And his cousin, very important, her character name is Pammy. And Pammy Novick, right?
Yes, that's right.
Pammy Novick. And Pammy Novick was played by an actress named Joanne Tucker. And Joanne Tucker just happens to be the wife of Adam Driver.
Okay.
So I got to hang for a whole week on set with Joanne, and she's an absolutely sweet lady.
And she'd be
Absolutely.
talking just so nonchalantly. Oh, my dear Adam is filming with Gaga in Italy for Gucci.
Yeah, Adam was.
It's like, oh,
Adam,
okay.
Adam was filming in Italy at the time.
Yes, I'm doing that too, but I'm not gonna brag about it.
She doesn't talk like that.
No,
That's
no.
what I say is
It's
I
not like
feel like
pretend.
there's a little bit of animosity or something there. Like,
No, I had to
get
say
do
she doesn't
this.
talk like that.
No, not at all. I don't mean like animosity, but I
No.
just mean like that's just the
It's
lifestyle.
the glamorous
Yeah.
lifestyle.
The glam, yes.
Hey, you'll get
You
there.
just drop this right into the conversation
Yeah, right.
here.
Boom.
you know.
Damn.
But for me, that
Jealous?
was cool to meet Joanne, and I get to work with her, and over a week get to know her.
And they made her
Yeah.
look so this town,
Yeah, she's
American
very
Rust, is
beautiful.
just
They
she's
made
very
her-
attractive, and they just made her look completely just sort of like downtrodden,
Yeah, she looks.
Yeah.
They made her look
rough.
like her character should have looked.
Yeah.
The character that she played,
Yeah.
which is
Mm-hmm.
completely different than her. Her.
Hey, that's what Hollywood can do, man. They can make you go from beautiful to ugly just with that makeup, man.
Those
That's
makeup people work wonders.
kudos to
It's-
them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I don't know. I'm not a makeup artist, but I would think it would be
Mhm.
easier to make a beautiful person look ugly than maybe the reverse. To make me look
I
beautiful.
can see the logic in that.
They look
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the
Charlize
Theron,
Theron
was
in
in
Monster
Monster Ball.
was a
No,
monster. Ball?
that was just Monster.
Monster,
Yeah,
Monster.
you're thinking,
Yeah, I'm
what's
thinking
her name?
of Another beautiful actress.
Yeah, what's her name?
Halle
Halle Berry.
Berry.
Halle Berry.
Right.
So I was in a local film that is going to be released in 2023. It's called Treaters, and it's by a gentleman named Zane Hirschberger, and the lead actress in it, Sable Grydell. She is blonde and beautiful, and is like really very bubbly and great. And then I play a character called the matriarch, and I had 4 days of filming. But every single day that I filmed, I had to have 3 hours worth of prosthetic makeup put on. And it's the first time I've ever had to go through that process. And it was like the color contacts getting in, which I'm like the worst at putting contacts in, even though I've had to wear them before, but it was like, I can't keep my eye open, popping in there. And then I had these piranha teeth and just this nasty base that's like gray and gross veins, and then silicone put all over my face and just disgusting looking. And the result was pretty terrifying. And so that will be released, like I said, probably in early 2023, but it's probably the most involved film that I would say that I've ever had to go through a makeup process like that and become this disgusting, terrible villain. But I enjoyed it thoroughly. I said to Rick, I enjoy playing a villain because it's so counterintuitive. Stop it. So counterintuitive to my real personality. Because I'm not like that. I'm a sweet person, I feel, but I don't know, maybe stop it. But a villain is just kind of fun.
Yeah, a lot of people say that you can kind of let go and just be somebody that you normally aren't, and have a lot of fun with a villain character.
Yeah, I mean, Dr.
and
Brady, in a way, it's like, could she be the villain?
She could go ape shit. She could go crazy. Like she's stabbing 12 people.
Yeah, she could have gone nuts at the frat party. You don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, I think the main challenge with what made her not as villainous, like I wish my stature were a little different, because it's like the main character that's the villain, not to give away too much, but like, I'm not 6'3" or 6'4". I'm gonna aspire to grow to that height if I'm on stilts.
Me too.
Yeah, I know you
Look at
don't.
like Gremlins, though.
Yeah, you don't have to be tall to
Things,
be.
They were, this tall.
Yeah. I mean, that imposing, Michael Myers,
Imposing.
Jason Voorhees. That's
my stature.
Yeah, you
And
don't
then
have to
there's
have
Then
that.
there's Chucky.
or the leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Oh,
Exactly.
the leprechaun.
See, critters.
They're always
We
after
could
me
do
lucky
this. We could do
charms.
this all night. We could talk about short killers that scare the shit out of you without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like ankle biters, or
See? Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
The Achilles is where you go after. So there's a movie I want to touch on. We barely you mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it. The Paint It. Absolutely phenomenal movie. I mean, damn near blew my mind when I watched it earlier today. I was like, this has to be a Hollywood production, because it's just the way it felt, the way that everybody acted. It was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it.
Or it might have been.
It might have been yours, but
No, well, yeah, true. I think that was my first feature film, and my character, Mrs. Pomeroy, she's pretty nasty. Yeah, that's talking about villains or whatever.
we'll never complain about our own mothers once we watch The Painting.
No.
Yeah,
See Mrs.
And
Pomeroy.
you understand more why he ended up being the killer that he was, but Rick's character is coming from a completely different perspective, which is he the villain because of what he did? Yeah, I think not. In a way, he vindicated kind of what was going on, but justified or vindicated. Yeah. But that was done by a local director, filmmaker, actor who's in the film, Lou D'Ambrosio.
Yeah, Lou's awesome. And Lou, here's a little something that's unknown. If for anybody that's watched,
oh, this is so cool.
Watched this film, is the song
in the beginning.
That
My Shadow, I think is the name of it. Is it?
Lou wrote that song. That's an original
Really,
song.
Dude, that song was awesome.
I thought it was.
He
I was trying to figure out.
He wrote it and
That's
performed
Lou.
it. That's Lou.
The dark-haired guy that
that's
plays
in
the husband.
lead.
The lead.
Lead actor.
That's
cool.
his voice.
Had a real strong 50s feel to
Yeah.
it, and I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh, it does.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
Know that, and we watched it or listened to it, and I said
This-
to Rick, "I love this song. Like, where did he find this person?" And
I thought it was an existing song.
yeah,
That's what I thought.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Lou said, no, I wrote that.
No, I
Just
wrote it,
casual.
performed it.
I love the soundtrack to that movie. I love it.
Yeah.
You go from that, and then you got the Rolling Stones later on. It's like, this soundtrack is stacked.
But yeah, that opening song, "Your Shadow," is him.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
I
all
love
local Pittsburgh
Mhm.
folks that put that
I mean,
together.
it's free. People can just watch it, which is pretty cool too. And it's always nice when there's content out there that's
I don't know if you
decent.
could, can you link,
Yeah, if you can.
No.
no?
Yes, damn right I will. Yes, 100%. Everybody needs to see that movie.
Yeah, if you want it
without a
out
doubt.
there,
Yeah.
we'll share it with our folks.
We're
I'll
proud
share
of it.
everything you guys have.
Yeah.
You know, Redwoods.
Yeah,
I'll do
I'll-
whatever you guys have. I mean, you guys are
That'd be
phenomenal. That's the thing. You know, everybody needs. That's why we really have gotten into the whole indie scene, is because, you know, of guys like you know, and you know, just these films that unfortunately, you know, they just fall to the wayside. And you know, that's what we're trying to bring
Yeah.
to the forefront, is like Massacre Academy, The Painted.
Highlight underappreciated
Yeah.
films.
And
Mhm.
you know, it doesn't take, you know, $50 million to make a good movie. Hell, I watched a 7.5-minute movie that I thought was done in months, that was done in 2 days.
Mhm.
It can be done. And
Yeah.
you know, but again, it's kudos to people like you that can make it happen, because you just can't get, you know, anybody in there that can act, that can, you know, do what you guys do. And
Yeah, you gotta
and-
put the right ingredients together.
Mhm.
exactly.
Absolutely.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't come together like that. And
Yeah.
and
Yes,
No.
yeah.
Or in a film like Redwoods, for instance, that was technically my first feature film, we'll say. And what was interesting about that one is I'm a huge fan, or I really enjoy found footage films. But what I think made that one different, now the budget on that one, when you're talking about like big budgets, that one had a pretty decent sized budget. I think it was like $500,000 or something like that.
Wow.
But it had the 5 different, what was so expensive about it was some of the special effects, and also the cameras that were
equipment.
used. So
Mhm.
there were like 5 or 6 different kinds of cameras that were used. There was an Ursa. I had a GoPro that was mounted. It had a gimbal so that it would stay steady. But that was the first time I'd ever really delved into like that kind of character. And seeing the final product, I was really happy with sort of how it visually looked. And I think there's sort of a question at the end, because you never really see my character necessarily, like what happened to her. But I think it's implied that, you know, it's not necessarily a great ending, but it was kind of a cool script in terms of interpretation for it, because I think the different perspectives you get are all coming together to sort of form the bigger story. But some of the technical stuff was really, really well done
Mhm.
for being, you know, a medium-sized budget, we'll say. And it was because of the son of the producer and the director. His name was Gus, but he did a lot of the special effects, and they were well done. Because fake fire, like I can always tell fake fire, and I think it looks terrible, but it actually isn't that distracting in
No,
Redwood.
not.
It actually, but they did blow up a house. Like at the end, that house that's blown up, it was literally so they had to get the local fire department, and
They built it.
yeah, they built it and then they burned it down. And they had some special effects people come in from they were like pyrotechnics guys from Cleveland that were working on Wonder Woman. So they came in to specifically help with that scene. But I got to watch it, even though I was not a part of it per se, but I got to watch that all happen. And kind of like Linger Rhythm with the pool scene, you get one take when the fire starts. So they rolled with it, and I thought it turned out really well. So that's a
Yeah.
pretty good found footage film, you know, for its budget level and the people that were involved with it. And Rick was involved with the Boonies, which was also local, that had a lot of great actors. That was kind of disturbing. So
That's got our boy in it, Clint. That's got old Lance Parkin in it. He directed
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, Lance is
Lance,
awesome.
we love Lance.
Lance is working on some special projects.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, wow. Well, trust me, he's kept me in the loop with a lot of stuff. He's on a podcast that we follow very closely called Neon Brainiacs,
Neon Brainiacs,
with
yeah.
Ben and
Oh,
Greg.
Neon Brainiacs, yeah.
So we're keeping tabs on everything. He hits me up on Facebook every once in a while. He's actually going to be a I'm doing a limited series on just the directors called The Director's Den, and he's actually going to be on there. He's stepping in for somebody. He's got another buddy, Steve Rosinski. I don't know if it rings a bell, but he's
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
he's done a couple things as well. He's going to be on there, so that's kind of a project that I have going on. But
Well,
Yeah.
when you talk to Lance, ask him about the scene that I did for him.
Oh, don't worry, I will. I was already in the works. That was already going to happen.
Yeah. So
Ah.
see what he'll say about it.
Oh, the Boonies is great. I love that movie.
Mhm.
It's a shame that it gets the IMDb. It's honestly, I don't even look at that shit because it's so stupid. Because it's like, it's so like opinionated and everything like that. It's like, gosh, just keep it. Either you like the movie or you don't. I mean, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a political thing or anything like that where it just gets blown up. And a lot of those movies are better.
There's somewhat of a like a dynamic
Mhm.
of Hollywood versus non-Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
There
there's a
really is.
competition,
It's
and
like a
there,
competition
there's
that they-
sometimes a butting of the heads. If it's not from Hollywood,
Yeah.
does it really exist?
Yes.
Or a
That's
certain name
a little bit of that.
recognition, like-
Yeah, a
I,
little bit
I
of that.
hate, and I don't like, and I hate that because it's like, and again, Hollywood they make good stuff, but again, it's like Redwoods. You could have put that right next to Blair Witch, and I would have been like, let me watch Redwoods. Let me go ahead and take that one, and I guarantee you, 90% of the people would have did the same thing.
But it also, just like Rick was saying or you were saying with Boonies, there were people that were like, it was unbelievable. Like, I thought the acting was terrible. It didn't seem like anybody really cared. I mean, it was just some of the things that people wrote were just mean, like downright kind of nasty. And it's like, listen, you go do it.
Oh man, she
Yeah.
stole the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest critics are the ones that will point fingers and couldn't do it themselves or wouldn't do it themselves because they couldn't take the heat, or they, I look.
They can't do it.
No, or
Yeah, no,
I look at it as, I don't really give a shit. Like, you can say what you want to, but I'm going to keep on the trajectory or the career path that I am. And I want to pick and choose projects that I value the people I'm involved with, or I love the script, or I feel like it's a new challenge for me. I'm not going to just do cookie cutter stuff. Like I consider myself more of a character actor because I choose what I want to do based on what that character is for me at that time in my life. Like, does it have value? Is it poignant? Can it challenge me? Is it something that is going to be a challenge? And then I decide if I want to be a part of it or not.
Is that your mindset, Rick?
It's hard for me to say. It all starts with the script.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all starts with the script, and it's got to be a script that really makes me excited about that project. And some do that for me, and some don't.
Sure.
And I try to gravitate to the ones that resonate with me.
Like, if it's a weak script or if it is poorly written, you can have the best actors in the world, but we can't change what the content is. We really can't. And I think a lot of times when somebody copies off somebody else's work, like what I did feel about The Painted was very unique is I don't remember a story or can think of a story that was a horror film that was sort of based on what was going on in that script. So I thought it was really well written.
I did too.
I think that it was unique. And so it was kind of fun that we were approached. Really, first Rick was approached. A lot of times what happens is somebody will say, hey, I want you for a project. And then I'll either say like, hi, do you want to take a look or talk to Rick? But we'll do projects apart from one another, but we prefer if we can do them together, but we're not like, hey, we have to be a package deal or else we're not involved. A lot of times it depends on, again, what the script is and kind of, is it a challenge and something we want to do together?
I did a little part in a local film that's titled The Greek Goddess. And I got in at the very end of casting that, and the lady that wrote it and starred in it said, Rick, I have one character left that I haven't cast, and it only has one line.
Okay.
And I said, I'd be happy to do it.
That's the line. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. So
It is.
it is. Okay,
But you did a great job.
so
The best
But
damn
anyway,
okay I've heard.
Okay.
long story short, on that set, I happened to meet a girl named Alex,
Who played
who went on to play in The Painted as the wife.
the wife, the blonde?
And
I
Alex,
think
who
Zan
worked,
is what her name is in the film, like Zan. I forget
yeah, I forget
Zan,
the
but
character name, honestly.
yeah, Alex Zan.
But yeah, Alex plays the wife in The
Mhm.
Painted, and she was working behind the camera in The Greek Goddess, and we met and talked, and lo and behold, some point shortly after, I got a call from Alex. Hey, I'm working on The Painted. She gave me the long and short of it. Said, would you be interested in playing one of the parts? I said, I'm very interested. Can we talk about it? And she said, why don't you meet Lou? So she set up a meeting. We all sat down for coffee and talked. And by the time I left that little meeting, I was, part of that cast. And yeah, that's how I got involved with The Painted and how I met Lou. So
Yeah.
And then I think a couple months later, they said, hey, when we start filming, we have this specific character that is the mother of the main villain. And we feel like it's a really strong, it's a short role, but it could be very very well done if it's done well. And so I said, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. And that that's one of the roles I'm actually most proud of, believe it or not. One of my shortest roles that I'm most proud of, because I feel from start to finish it was
strong.
very
Yeah,
strong.
yeah, you were
Very cool.
you were 1 to 10 the whole time you were at an 11. So I and again, I mean, and I think the one thing with The Painted is, you can kind of take a conglomeration of horror movies and kind of, turn it into that if you wanted to, like you can throw The Conjuring or Malignant or something like that. But as far as the story itself, that's never been done on that scale. So kudos to everybody involved in that, because again, and that was a full length, that was an hour and 37 minutes, and I never felt like it was an hour and 37 minutes. That's a lot of the times when we're watching these indie projects is that, we never look at the time. We're like, okay, just watch. Like, we're never like, God, is this almost over? And that's a testament to the direction, the acting. It's like, man, this is actually good stuff. There's Hollywood movies where I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm turning this off. I'm walking out.
Yeah.
And it's just, everything that you guys have been in has just been a breath of fresh air. It's been amazing. And I have not had any problem with watching any of the stuff you've been in. In fact, I've just been enjoying it.
I appreciate
Thank you
that.
so
Thank you.
much. Aw, I'm a little bit clamped.
Verklempt. Oh, Saturday Night Live reference. Love it.
I'm gonna have to look that up after the podcast.
Is that coffee
I'm
talk? Isn't it?
speechless.
Is that coffee talk?
Yeah, coffee talk.
Coffee
Listen,
talk.
I can't talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I love to do New York. If I could play a character and do New York, I would be so
Damn,
happy.
she got that down. She didn't have to
I
try.
do. I like it. Accents are my.
And
my
we just
thing.
got to go to New York for my first time ever.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah, I've never been to New York.
I've been in the airports, both airports, but I've never visited New York. And just last fall, I auditioned for a little commercial, and it was with Joe Pera. And I don't know if you know Joe Pera from Adult Swim. Joe Pera talks to you.
Talks to you.
And Joe has a series on Adult Swim. In fact, he hired me to do 3 little commercials promoting his season 3, which has already happened in November and December. And so when I got cast with Joe to do that promo, I went to Queens, New York City for my first time ever. And
awesome.
I got to show him around the city.
Naturally, I took my beautiful wife, and I've been to New York many times.
I was a nanny there back in 2000 for a couple months. So it was kind of like the Nanny Diaries. It was a little wild, but yeah, it was a cool time. I was 2 blocks from the World Trade Center at the time, and learned a lot about the city. I wasn't quite 21, but I sort of was in a way. But it was a very cool place. You have to have money to be there and truly appreciate, enjoy it. It's cool to be a visitor, but to be a resident, it's a completely different thing. And maybe a working actor there, that's one thing, but eventually maybe. But now it's like we'll appreciate it and enjoy where we are. We're pretty centrally located. We can get to Chicago, we can get to New York, we can get to Virginia, which we've done some projects there. It's a pretty nice location.
Homeland Security hired us.
Yeah. I know. Crazy people. What were they thinking?
They hired us to do this little promotional thing for internal to Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So it's not something that's public, but
You know,
they
that's why
hired.
that's why they look like they do right now, Clint. Why there's nothing behind them. It's just white. Like there's no pictures, no nothing. They're in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah. I know some we don't.
They
Yeah.
all I know is our dinner's about to be slid under the door in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're coming for us. Awesome. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we played husband and wife, and honey, why did you have to be that way? Why did I have to give you such condescending looks?
We were hired to play a husband and wife, and
Imagine that.
we're watching. It was mostly print. There was some video. It was mostly print, and it was all. I played a character of a husband who was being radicalized.
He's like radical
by a anti-government
organization.
sect.
Yeah.
And I was diving into this, and really my wife was
Concerned and upset and worried.
being traumatized by she's going to lose her husband to who knows.
This is real life.
Who knows what. So the Homeland Security people were they rented a house to film in, and they were in one of the bedrooms, and they had a monitor to watch everything that was happening, and the photographer was snapping all these pictures, and Homeland Security the representatives would chime in and say, get Rick to do this, and have Stephanie stand that way, have her look this way. And maybe about an hour into it, they stopped, and they were concerned. Homeland Security was concerned, and
they were like,
they talked, however they were talking with whatever things in ears or whatever with the photographer. Next thing I knew was, Rick, they want to know, are you okay?
Like, are you really angry? Are you really like radicalized?
I said, what do you mean? And they said, are you mad? Are you angry? And I said, isn't that what you want me to be?
Yeah. Isn't that what you're paying me to be?
Yeah, but they want to know if you are for real.
Like for real, because you look.
In between the snapshots, you look angry and mad. And they want to make sure that you're not. I said, no, I'm an actor.
I'm just in the.
So once you put me in that zone,
I'm there.
Like I'm in the zone.
It's kind of like the difference between when you hire a model and they replicate or they look a certain way or they're like real attractive or whatever, versus like an actor that literally puts themselves in the mindset and becomes that. It's like now they were really worried that like Rick's radicalized and he's going to do something crazy. And I'm like concerned wife, like, this is how it really is. Like, I mean, when he has to get in the zone, like I'm not worried about him at all. Like he's fine. It was just funny.
I guess it was a compliment to an actor.
As a compliment,
for someone to believe your character.
And now they're watching his ass. Like I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you got a tracking device on your
now, do you really want Homeland Security to be a fan of yours?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
He's on the watch list.
Yeah.
We both are. Thanks, honey.
Don, we didn't think this through. I think we might be on a list now too.
Sure. Yeah, now you are too.
John Walsh is going to come to our house.
I just cut that part out.
You might just want to X-ray on this whole.
Yeah, right. This whole segment, it's coming out.
Yes.
The whole segment.
Damn it.
Don't use his real name.
Right. This isn't really their real name.
Just use his stage name. Oh wait, that's his real name.
Homeland Security. What is that, darling?
See,
I'm being one of your British listeners, like
Clint, I think we're fucked. We're fucked, Clint.
I think we're fucked.
We're all fucked, Clint. God, we've been on here for like over an hour and a half, and I have not slowed down. That's how fun it's been. But we don't want to keep you guys on here unless you want to be. But I have nothing else to do. But if you guys, we don't want to keep you guys on here. We don't want to jeopardize your time. But please, by all means, both you guys, tell us where everybody can find you. Tell us what you got upcoming. I want people to know where to find you because they need to find you. So not Homeland Security, fans.
Homeland Security fans. Okay, go first. Then.
Well, naturally follow our IMDb pages, which would be really cool.
Okay.
We're on
Rick Dutrow?
social media. Our names: Rick Dutrow, Stephanie Swift.
Are you Rick Dutrow the second on IMDb? Because I know there's like a Rick Dutrow.
Yeah, there's a distant relative of mine.
Richard E. Dutrow. I know the guy because I was like, that ain't him.
Yeah, he's a distant relative somehow, and he was a horse trainer, and so was his father. And they won. I think the Kentucky
Is it
Derby
Kentucky Derby?
with Big Brown was the horse.
Damn.
The,
Okay.
The reason I know that is someone called me from California back then, and hey, is that your horse? No, we got the wrong
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
It's like Ghostbusters. When someone's asked if you're a god, you say yes. Yes, that's my horse.
And I'm Stephanie Swift the third. Okay, so there's 3 on IMDb. I am not the second who happens to be a former porn star. That is not adult entertainer.
Insanity. Like I'm always like, I know this is not Stephanie. Why does this keep coming up? Why?
It's because
Why do I keep watching?
and that's
these
not
movies?
her real name.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my God-given name. This is what my parents named me. Her name is Melody Clark, but oftentimes people will click on my IMDb page because they, I guess, are looking for that Stephanie Swift, and they get me. So I mean, that helps me, I guess, in a way. But sorry, I'm not who they think I am.
I will tell you, this is a funny story. Not to cut you off, but like the first time when we were talking on Facebook, you're like, oh, go. I went on IMDb, and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, man, she's got like 230 credits. So of course I go and I look, and I'm like, this ain't her. Like, what am I? What I'm like,
No.
this ain't her. There's no way this is her. I'm like, I've seen her on like the Star Wars screenshot. I was like, that's not her. And I kept watching the movies. I'm like, she's not in any of these. Then I go back and I'm like, oh shit, now I know why, because that ain't her.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
So you had to
But after you watch those 200
yeah,
credits,
how were they?
They're fucking terrible.
Yeah. They're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
Just
She's a terrible actress, but man, she can do other things, but I'm not going to get into.
I've never
liar.
watched her performance.
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the real Stephanie
Yeah.
Swift.
And on Instagram, speaking of, I'm the official Stephanie Swift. So if you
Bam.
follow the official Stephanie Swift, that's me, because I'm the official. And you are.
Yeah, I think I'm Rick Dutrow on Instagram.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you follow our social media,
Mhm.
we try to promote what we're doing and projects we're working on, what might be coming up in the near future,
Mhm.
and we'd love to have interaction with your audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have the audiobooks I was referencing are now released as of yesterday. They're called there's 3 in a series, but they're by Michael Scott Earl. And the first one is called Succubus, the second one is Satan, and then the third one I think is Werewolf, and they're the Hell High series. So they're 700-page books with narration with myself and another gentleman named David Deeds. So those are available now to purchase. And then also I'm in a podcast that will be released called Star Child, which is with like a local production company, but her name is Kaylee Fitzgerald. So that will be released shortly. It has a lot of local talent. So those are kind of 2 voice things that I've sort of been into lately. I've been doing a little bit more of that when it comes to projects. So I'm very happy to voice a project. If anyone wants to reach out to me, I would love to speak with you about the project too. And so I think Rick the same, he has a great voice.
He does.
It definitely was a voice that I wanted to listen to for the rest of my life. So
Well, that is so
that was
damn
so cheesy.
sweet. That is so
Sorry, I had
sweet.
to.
No,
I think I just turned I'm blushing.
Yeah. Oh, he's blushing.
It's getting kind of red. It's getting kind of red. But
I know.
no, guys, we can't thank you enough for your time. It has been absolutely, I mean, again, we're almost 2 hours. It has been an absolute blast. Didn't even feel like
didn't
time
feel
was
like that at
moving.
all.
You know, and you guys are you guys are ultra talented. You guys are
Thank you so
fantastic.
much.
I'm so glad that I reached out, you know, and asked Steph for her time, and then I got to talk to both you guys and got to really see some amazing films, and I hope everybody else you know, shares the sentiment, and I'm sure they will, because I'm a pretty good judge of stuff. So anything that I've seen that has a link, it'll go on the group. Everybody can check it out. I just, like I said, I'm just blown away by, you know, by you two. It's you know, it's you guys that keep it going, and hope you guys understand that.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Sweden. Thank you, Britain. Thank you, United States, whoever else is chiming in.
Whoever else we offended or didn't talk about, you know, that.
Or anybody we didn't bring up. And then reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about your project and see if it's a good fit for us and you as well.
We send our love.
Absolutely.
To everybody.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right,
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.